Yeah, the mind's there to keep you safe. It's never going to be satisfied, and you gotta take back control over it. And that's why monitoring your thoughts and being able to still your mind is so important. Because if you cannot monitor the thoughts, or you're unaware of what's going on, then you have no control over what's happening outside. So what's the real driving force? Like, what is it that we should really be following? For myself, what I have found to be the most serving thing to follow is my emotions. Now, most people, myself included, would feel an emotion and then run with it. I feel angry, so I'm pissed off. I feel sad, so I'm devastated. I feel frustrated. You know, whatever it is, I would just take that emotion and I would identify with it. I would define myself as that emotion, and I would play out whatever necessary steps go along with being angry. So my emotions were running my life. My mind was running my life. I had no say in any of it. You know, I was just kind of a victim, which was really, really serving me at the time. But only serving my old belief system. It wasn't really serving my life. So how to kind of switch gears from feeling your emotions to just running away with them, and feeling your emotions and allowing it to be an indicator for a course correction. That's really, really key. It was really key for myself. And for myself, I started becoming really aware of the physical effects that took place in my body with the emotions. So, in a sense, quite literally, I reconnected my mind and my body. I got back into my body. Instead of just reacting to whatever came up, I started paying attention to what was physiologically taking place in my body. What was I feeling? For me, when I get scared, whenever I get uneasy, whenever I deal with fear, resistance, anything that's not gooey, yummy love, I get this pressure in my chest. I get this heaviness, and it starts to be hard to breathe, and I start to kind of take these shorter breaths, and I get this like anxiety feeling, and I get like this tingling, and it's awful. It's just this like intense like feeling that I get. And in recognizing it now and paying attention to what that feels like, now when I start to feel that creep in, when I start to feel that pressure in my chest, if I leave a conversation and I'm still carrying part of it with me on my chest, then I take that as an indicator before that takes over. It's an opportunity to shift my perspective. So remember before I said, you know, if it's love, it's true. If it's not love, it's not true. So all this anxiety falls into the not true. So instead of getting caught up in thinking that, you know, falling into those fears or falling into that what if scenario or falling back into, you know, stinking thinking or, you know, woulda, coulda, shouldas from my past. Instead, I can start to feel that anxiety. And like as I start to feel that kind of feeling, it's like, you know, it's like ding, 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 hello. This is my chance to shift my perspective. Because I don't want to go through life feeling all yucky and crappy, and especially if I can do something about it. So instead of letting that take me over and, you know, start making the decisions for me and get into that reaction mode, then instead I can make a choice and I can say, okay, if I'm feeling it here and I know that the only thing that brings about fear is, or that anxiety, anything that's not love. So I say fear, and that goes for anything. Depression, fear, anger, whatever, all that yucky stuff. It's not true. It's not real. So I got to get to the truth of the situation. So then I get to what I know to really be true. So say, for instance, my husband says something to me, and the tone of voice that he uses hits that point in my chest, and I'm like, I cannot believe that he just said that to me. I cannot believe he used that tone of voice. I can't believe that he would, you know, whatever it is that he said, I start to feel that like anxiety coming up. Then I, instead of just responding back, like, oh yeah, you want to, you know, and getting back into it and feeding that resistance with more resistance, I can realize that the only reason that I'm feeling that is because I feel threatened. For some reason, I feel threatened. For some reason, I feel threatened. Is my husband really a threat to me? No. What do I know to be true? That he loves me unconditionally. Well, if he loves me unconditionally, then why would he be intimidating me? Or why would he be trying to scare me? Or why would he, you know, want want me to experience anything other than love from him. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. If he really loves me, he wouldn't want me to feel this way. So is it a possibility that maybe I just misinterpreted what he said? Maybe that tone of voice came from the thought that he was having that had nothing to do with me before it came out of his mouth, and that same emotion that he was feeling was attached to the words that he used to me, but he wasn't meaning to send that energy my way. And all that this does, or all that does for me, is that it gives me a moment of pause to where I can choose how I'm going to respond instead of just reacting. So instead of just snapping right back, I can say, and make a different choice. And in the first time that I consciously did this, okay, this is how it's worked for me. I got it here, so I knew what to expect. The situation would happen, I'd be going about my day, and I'd be like, oh, that was totally the type of situation that I just learned about that I need to watch out for, but I played right into it. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody else has had that experience. And then it started being like, while I was in the situation, I'd buy into that emotion, I'd get wrapped up in it, and then it would hit me while I was still in the situation. Now, wait a minute. I'm playing into the fears. This is all about defensiveness. Let's get to the truth of the matter. And then I could work my way back out. And then all of a sudden, it came to where it was like, as soon as I received that input, whatever it was, from my husband or somebody cutting you off in traffic, whatever it is that kind of triggers that emotion, then once I got triggered, I could make a different choice. So it's just the more that I thought about it, the more that I became aware about it, the more that I caught it after the fact, and then caught it in the fact.